Guys, it's Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Marc Zicree of Space Command, back in the car again. Remember when I used to do these videos in the car? The reason is because I actually just taped one or recorded one and accidentally erased it. So instead of beautiful houses, you're seeing an automotive interior and my Space Patrol t-shirt, proud wearer of my Space Patrol t-shirt. I'm here today to talk about Mad Max Fury Road and Pitch Perfect, of all things, and explain why they're the same film. But first, well, a little check-in. Things are going great on Space Command. We're editing the film. It's going very, very well. We're also doing a new trailer. Our VFX team is very excited about that. We're getting ready for Comic-Con and the panel we're going to have there. And many, many other things. Rewriting the second script, getting ready to shoot that of the 6 films. Many things going on. Very, very exciting. Very dream come true. Totally a dream come true. So, but meanwhile, here's what's going on with Mad Max Fury Road, etc. First of all, I liked Mad Max Fury Road so very much that I actually went out and bought Mad Max, the first film, done in 1979, and it's not Road Warrior, that's Mad Max 2. So in the first film, it was made for $350,000. It grossed an incredible $100 million, and is fairly dated, actually. There's a number of things in it that are kind of clunky. There's a very odd, romance between Max, played by 21-year-old Mel Gibson, and his wife. There's a strange scene. He basically has a wife. He's a policeman. He has a young wife and a toddler son. Interestingly enough, in Mad Max Fury Road, he flashes back to memories of his daughter. So they've changed the sex of the child that he lost. He lost his wife and child, but in the first film. But there's a strange scene where you hear this romantic saxophone music, and then you see Max and his wife in their home, and she's playing the saxophone. So it's like a moment out of Airplane or Naked Gun or one of those films. So pretty ridiculous. But meanwhile, so I watched the first Mad Max film, and very interesting. It's very interesting to see how George Miller and Mel Gibson grew in their craft and in their skills, because by the time they did The Road Warrior, Mel Gibson was a terrific, powerful presence, and George Miller was a phenomenal director. But in the first film, they're learning their craft. The car chases are great. The car wrecks, all that stuff is spectacular. And Mel Gibson is charismatic and handsome, and he's a very strong actor. And so it's all there. You can see why he became a movie star. And George Miller has a lot of chops too. And also, playing the villain, playing a character called Toe Cutter in Mad Max, is an actor called Hugh Keys-Byrne, and he has this big head of hair, and he's charismatic and fun and wonderful, and he's the lead villain in the new Mad Max movie, in Fury Road, or Immortan Joe, and you would never guess that he's in his early 70s. He brings such power and vitality and energy and physicality to the role. So I'm really glad that after 35 years and more, he's in this new film too. So 3 cheers. Though I do regret that Mel Gibson isn't in it, because I feel bad when movie stars lose their careers, and it almost happened with Tom Cruise, and then Mel Gibson had a few stumbles in his personal life, and the audience turned against him, essentially, which is a shame. In the old days, in the 30s and 40s, there were people hired by the studios to keep their stars out of the headlines. Their stars were every bit as weird and drunken and ill-advised then as they are now, but they were protected. And I wish that were still the case, because I think that people who still have talent and can still entertain audiences and deliver the goods shouldn't lose their careers because of their own feet of clay. And you can think that Mel Gibson has small flaws or big flaws as a human being, but still, I wish that personal lives were kept out of it. But back to Mad Max and Fury Road and Pitch Perfect and all of that. So I listened to the review of Mad Max Fury Road on the radio, and the reviewers also mentioned Pitch Perfect 2. Now, Pitch Perfect 2 beat Mad Max in the box office this weekend. It was the #1 film, and Mad Max was #2. And the reviewers really loved Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2, and which surprised me, because it was not just the female critic, but the male critic as well. So I thought, well, let's check out Pitch Perfect. So we rented it, Elaine and I, and watched it and really liked it. I'm a huge fan of a cappella music, and so we went and saw Pitch Perfect 2, which I liked as well. So, but it occurred to me that Mad Max and Pitch Perfect are the same movie, and I'll tell you, I'll explain myself here. This first came to me when I saw Avatar and Precious and realized they were the same movie. And here's how it works. So with Mad Max and Pitch Perfect. So both films are about an outcast who has no friends, who comes upon a group of people who are in great distress, who are very threatened with destruction, and 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 this causes our hero or heroine to rise to the occasion, to join the group, to put their special talents into helping this group triumph and survive. And they have many forces thrown against them, forces that look like they'll win, but in the end, our heroes rise to the occasion, show their mettle, prove their loyalty and their heroism, and triumph and vanquish the foe and survive. And we learn the value. Our hero learns the value of friendship, loyalty, all of that, and is no longer alone. Has someone who has their back. So this is Mad Max 2. This is Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. This is The Road Warrior. This is all of these films, and the reason for that is because we are still have the same wiring as when we were in the trees and covered with fur and worrying about, leopards and panthers and saber-toothed tigers, killing us. And so there's a strong wiring in us. We are pack animals, and there's a part of us that recognizes the vulnerability of being alone, the danger of being alone, and wants to find a group that will recognize our value, that will value us, that will protect us, and that where we will be stronger as a group than alone, and that although the forces of the predatory forces seemingly have the upper hand, are much stronger than us, are much more cunning than us, that in the end we will defeat them. As humans, we started as prey and became predators, and we're unusual in that way. Usually, an animal is either predator or prey. We're both, and so this is I think why these films allow us to live vicariously and relive that old battle, that old struggle again and again and again, and that's why films tell the same story over the generations and still have their validity. So that's it for now. That's my little crackpot theory that I think has a lot to say for it. But and also those of you who haven't seen Mad Max or Pitch Perfect 2, you can definitely go out and have a very good time. And I think in many cases it was guys saying to their wives and girlfriends, okay, if you come with me to see Mad Max, I'll go with you to see Pitch Perfect. And I think that's one of the reasons those films both did so well this past weekend. So again, it's Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, Marc Zicree of Space Command. Please, that's my dog, Squirrel, making her little commitment to the cause, her little addition. So okay, actually, here we go. Ah, there's the dog. Yeah, Squirrel, the dog. So eventually we'll put her in Space Command. And thanks a lot for everything, and we'll talk to you soon. So like, subscribe, do all the things you do, and we'll be with you next time. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.